Hey everyone, ready to explore how safety practices and environmental sustainability are connected?
Sounds pretty interesting, right?
For this deep dive,
Uh-huh.
we dug into a recent episode of HSSE World, and
They always have really fascinating stuff.
yeah, totally. And they had some really insightful stuff on this. Like, did you know that those two areas are way more connected than you might think?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Safety and sustainability, they're kind of like two sides of the same coin, you know?
Totally. They're both all about protecting things.
Protecting people, protecting the planet.
Exactly. It's all about making sure we have a future, right? A
Right.
future where things are good.
A resilient future, they called it.
Yeah, a resilient future. I like that. And the cool thing is we don't have to start from scratch to figure out how to bring these two things together.
Right, like a lot of the things we already do for safety can actually help with sustainability too.
It's like a two-for-one deal.
Exactly, like take risk assessments, for example.
That's a big one in the safety world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We use them all the time to figure out what could go wrong and how to prevent it.
So how does that apply to sustainability?
Well, think about it. We can use that same process to look at environmental risks.
Oh, I see what you mean. So instead of just thinking about worker safety, we're also thinking about the environment.
Precisely. Like, imagine you've got a chemical plant, right? They can use risk assessments to figure out if there's a chance of spills or leaks.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
By identifying those risks early on, they can take steps to prevent them, which not only keeps their workers safe,
But it also protects the environment from contamination.
it's like a win-win situation.
It totally is. And it goes beyond just chemical plants.
Oh, yeah. Give me another example.
Okay, so think about energy efficiency. Everybody's talking about that these days, and
Go
for
ahead
good
now.
reason. It's key for sustainability, right?
Totally.
Well, a lot of safety practices actually lead to better energy efficiency without even trying. Let's say you've got a factory, right? And they put safety rules in place to cut down on machines just sitting there idling.
Yeah, that wastes a lot of energy.
Exactly. Less idling means less energy used, which means fewer greenhouse gas emissions.
It's like a chain reaction of good stuff.
It really is. And the HSSE World episode brought up another great example. Waste reduction.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Huge. And think about it, when you've got safe handling and disposal procedures, you often end up reducing waste in the first place.
Okay, I'm following you. Give me a real-world example.
All right, picture a construction site, right? If they're super strict about how they handle hazardous materials.
Keeps the workers safe.
Right. But it also means they're way less likely to contaminate the soil or water.
So again, it's good for both safety, AD, the environment.
Exactly. They also talked a lot about chemical management, which is a huge deal for both people and the planet.
Oh, yeah, chemicals can be scary if they're not handled properly.
No kidding. And they highlighted how using closed-loop systems for chemicals can make a huge difference.
Closed-loop systems, what are those?
So basically, it means keeping the chemicals contained throughout the entire process.
So there's less chance of them escaping into the environment.
Exactly. And of course, it protects the workers, too.
So it all comes back to that same idea.
Yeah.
Safe practices are good for the environment, too.
It's like they're two sides of the same coin, really.
So then the big question is, how does all this actually play out in the business world?
Right. Like, does it make a difference to a company's bottom line?
The HSSE World folks made a pretty convincing case that it does.
I'm all ears. What did they say?
Well, think about it this way. If a company's got a good safety record.
They're probably going to have fewer accidents and injuries.
Exactly. And that means lower costs.
Lower costs for things like workers' comp, insurance premiums, and legal stuff.
Right. And when you have fewer incidents, your operations run more smoothly.
Which means you're more productive and efficient.
So it's not just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It actually makes good business sense.
Absolutely. And then there's the whole reputation thing.
Oh, yeah, people care about that these days.
Big time. Consumers want to support companies that are doing things the right way.
Companies that care about their employees and the planet.
Exactly. So if a company can show that they're committed to both safety and sustainability, it gives them a real edge.
Makes them stand out from the crowd.
It does. And it helps them attract top talent, too.
Oh, yeah, especially younger generations who are really passionate about these issues.
For sure. They want to work for companies that share their values.
So it's not just about appealing to customers, it's about attracting the best employees, too.
Makes total sense. But how do companies actually put all this into practice?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
Well, the HSSE World episode had some really practical advice.
Okay, I'm ready to take notes. What did they say?
Well, first of all, it all starts with leadership.
Leadership. In what way?
Leaders have to really get this whole connection between safety and sustainability.
They have to buy into it completely.
Right. They need to make it a core part of the company's mission.
So it's not just lip service. It's baked into how the company operates.
Exactly. But it can't just be words. They have to put their money where their mouth is.
Walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Exactly. And they got to make sure their systems and processes reflect this commitment.
So we're talking about everything from risk management and incident reporting to how they train their employees.
Yeah, it's about making sure sustainability is woven into the fabric of the entire business.
I like that. Woven into the fabric makes it sound like a really integral part of the company.
It's not just some side project, it's how they do business.
That makes sense. And they mentioned something about data analytics, didn't they?
He did. It plays a huge role
Yeah.
by tracking both safety and environmental data.
Companies can really see what's working and what's not.
Exactly. It helps them make smarter decisions based on real evidence.
So it's not just a guessing game. They've got hard data to back up their choices.
And of course, you can't forget about the importance of involving everyone in the process.
Oh, right. Getting all the stakeholders on board.
Employees, customers, suppliers, the community, everyone.
Because when people feel like they're part of the solution,
They're more likely to buy in and make it work.
and you get a much more well-rounded perspective, too.
The HSSE World people were really big on building a culture of shared responsibility.
A culture where everyone feels responsible for both safety and sustainability.
Exactly. It's like everyone's on the same team working towards the same goal.
That's a powerful image. And they showed a really interesting case study about a company that's doing all of this really well.
You're talking about Dow Chemical, right?
That's the one. They're like the poster child for integrating safety and sustainability.
I think their story will really bring all of this to life.
I'm excited to hear more. Let's dive in. All right, so Dow Chemical, right. Huge company.
Yeah, global, like a big player in the chemical industry.
And they've got this program called Sustainable Chemistry.
Yeah, and it's not just about, like, them trying to be a little bit greener.
It's way more than that.
It's about changing the whole game.
Yeah, they're developing these eco-friendly products and processes.
Using stuff like green chemistry and,
Waste reduction.
yeah, waste reduction, energy efficiency.
Trying to make the whole industry more sustainable.
It's pretty ambitious.
It is. And get this, they've actually tied the sustainability program into their safety management system.
That's so smart. How does that even work?
So basically, every time they come up with some new sustainable solution,
Yeah.
they do a full-on risk assessment.
Like the ones we were talking about before.
Exactly. They want to make sure it doesn't create any new safety risks for their workers or the community.
That makes a lot of sense. You don't want to solve one problem.
And create a whole new one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Totally. Like, you wouldn't just throw a bunch of random ingredients together and expect a delicious cake.
You need the right balance.
Exactly. And they've taken this whole integrated approach and made it part of how they train their employees.
So it's like built into the company culture.
Exactly. They're teaching everyone from the top down.
To think about safety and sustainability together.
Yep. And the results have been amazing.
I bet.
Fewer accidents, fewer environmental issues.
They must be saving a ton of money, too,
Oh, I'm sure. And their reputation has gotten a big boost.
which helps attract customers and top talent.
They're killing it on all fronts.
They really are. It just shows that doing the right thing can actually be good for business.
Right. It's not just some feel-good thing that costs you money.
It can actually be a smart investment,
It's about changing the way we think about sustainability.
not as a burden, but as an opportunity.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest takeaways from all of this?
Well, for me, the HSSE World episode and this Dow Chemical story, they really highlight how connected these two things are.
Safety and sustainability.
Yeah, you can't really separate them.
They're two sides of the same coin.
And when companies get that, it's like a light bulb goes off.
Right. They realize they don't have to choose one or the other.
They can have both.
And it all starts with leadership, like we were saying,
Yeah, you need leaders who are willing to walk the walk
who see this as a core part of their business strategy.
and who are willing to put in the resources to make it happen.
It can't just be empty words, you know?
It's got to be backed up with action.
Yeah.
But it's not just on the leaders, is it?
No way. It takes everyone.
It's about creating a culture where everyone feels responsible.
For both safety and sustainability.
Right.
Yeah.
Like everyone's a part of the solution.
And Dow Chemical showed us what can happen when you get that right.
Pretty impressive.
Totally. But this isn't just something for big corporations.
It applies to everyone, right?
Absolutely. No matter what you do or where you work.
We can all find ways to connect safety and sustainability in our own lives.
I like that. It's not just about changing companies, it's about changing the world.
Exactly. The HSSE World folks ended their episode with a really cool question. They asked, where do you see the biggest opportunity to connect safety practices with sustainability goals?
That is a good question.
It makes you think, right?
It does. Like, what can I do in my own little corner of the world?
Yeah. Maybe it's something as simple as like using less energy at home.
Or speaking up at work if you see something unsafe or unsustainable.
Right. Or maybe it's supporting companies that are doing things the right way.
Or volunteering for an environmental organization.
There are so many possibilities.
It's exciting.
It is. It's not just about following rules. It's about being creative,
Coming up with new solutions.
working together to make a difference.
And that's what makes this whole journey so inspiring.
It's not just about protecting ourselves. It's about protecting the planet.
It's about creating a better future for everyone.
And knowing that we all have a role to play, it really is a whole new way of looking at things.
Like you're seeing the connections between everything.
Exactly. And once you start seeing
You
it,
can't unsee it.
right, and it makes you realize that even small things can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Like even just the choices we make every day.
What we buy, how we get around,
Yeah, stuff like that.
it all adds up.
It does. Like choosing to walk or bike instead of always driving.
Or using a reusable water bottle.
Yeah, and like bringing your own bags to the grocery store.
All those little things.
They can actually have a big impact.
It really can.
It's about realizing that we all have a part to play in making the world more sustainable.
And it's not just about feeling good.
It's about doing what's right.
For ourselves and for future generations.
Exactly. This deep dive has been really eye-opening for me.
Me too. It's inspiring to see companies like Dow, really taking the lead.
Yeah, but it's also empowering to realize that we don't have to wait for big companies.
We can all make a difference.
In our own ways.
Right here, right now.
What were those HSSE World hosts asking again?
They asked, what can I do in my own sphere of influence to promote both safety and sustainability?
That's a good one.
It really makes you think.
It does. It's like a call to action.
What can we do?
Maybe it's talking to our friends and family about this stuff.
Yeah, spread the word.
Or maybe it's volunteering for an organization.
Or just making more conscious choices in our own lives.
Exactly. There's so many possibilities.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
It's not about following a set of rules.
It's about being creative, finding new solutions,
Thinking outside the box.
working together to build a better future.
I love that. So to wrap things up.
Yeah.
I think this deep dive has shown us that safety and sustainability are not separate things.
They're connected.
Yeah, like two pieces of the same puzzle.
And when we put those pieces together,
We create a more complete picture.
a picture of a world where people and the planet can thrive.
Exactly. So thank you for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new and maybe even feel inspired to take action.
Even small steps can make a difference.
Remember, protecting people and protecting the planet go hand in hand.
We're all in this together.
And together we can create a future that's both safe and sustainable.
A future we can all be proud of.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.
And keep making a difference.
See you on our next deep dive.